Hey guys, welcome back to Actors Boulevard. Thank you for tuning in to my new podcast. I hope you've all had an amazing week. I've had a pretty busy week myself, and we'll get to that just in a minute. As a recap from last week, Actors Boulevard is a way for me to document my journey in pursuit of my acting career. I've no acting experience, I've no acting classes, I've no connections. I'm literally starting from scratch. So this channel intends to unite other actors who are in the same boat, who are traveling the journey also. And hopefully we can connect and maybe even help out each other and so on and so forth. So that's my intention. I have no expectations on where the podcast is going. But I'm very, very excited about it, and I hope you are too. So I have started a lot of work this week. I have started reading multiple books in parallel, and I've looked up classes, and I just wanted to tell you what I've been doing, and I would love to hear from you also in the comment section of what you have been at during the week with respect to your acting career. And hopefully we can learn from each other. So to begin, I have bought a book called Self-Management for Acting, and it's by a girl called Bonnie Gillespie. I've heard a lot about this book online, and it looked really good, and it got a lot of good reviews. So I decided to buy it. I got it on Amazon, and I've only read the first chapter, and it's about actors' mindset. So, before I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest with you. But a lot of the things that I have read in the first chapter, they do apply to people's lives in general, with respect to qualities that they need to be successful in life, regardless of what profession you're in. And then there's also factors directly associated within the acting world. So and as Bonnie illustrated in her book, it's not just like one thing, it's a series of things that will essentially allow you to, or enable you to, become a booking machine. A lot of people seem to be focused on the resume, but it's also the resume, the audition and training and so on. So let's go down through the list. So the first is attitude, and again, this goes for everyone in their professional career. They have to have a good attitude. When you're talking to people, dealing with people in meetings or outside of meetings, or even at home, dealing with your family, it's good to have a good attitude and a good outlook on life. And, excuse my French, but you don't want to come across as an asshole. And I think we should be always vigilant about that. And of course, if we're happy within, that will show on the outside directly. So attitude is number one, that we have to we have to have a good attitude. So number two, connections in the industry. Again, it goes for many people who have businesses and stuff like that. And acting also a business. So, we need connections. Of course, that's not to say that we will not succeed without connections, although having connections would give us an edge, I guess, over the competition. And, would give us a kind of leg up if, someone working here or working there, and this person knows this person, and one thing leads to another, and someone puts in a word for you, or it's nice to have the phone book full of professional people in the sector that you can call for a favor here, a favor there, or someone would do you a favor without even asking. And of course that works vice versa as well, that as you progress in your career, you can also help them do different things within your power to help them also, so you can always return the favor and stuff like that. So absolutely, connections in the industry. This one I thought was pretty good. Energy, and the way Bonnie described it as like bitter actor syndrome. So she described it like when, just say, an actor walked into an audition, and being a lot of rejection within the acting realm is kind of like, you can get bitter after a while, I guess, if you were going to 50 or 100 auditions and you're not getting any parts and stuff like that. So it's like, you still have to have good energy coming off you. So just say if you walked into an audition room and you have this bitterness about you, well, essentially no one will want to work with you if you are like that. So I know that I wouldn't want to work with someone who is bitter, regardless of their talent or what expertise that they brought to the table. I mean, no one really wants to be around bitter people, if we're being honest with each other. So I think that's again, if you're happy inside and stuff like that, and you're kind of in touch with your emotions and understanding that they are just emotions and they passed, will essentially make you feel a little bit happier and give off more positive energy, as you go forward. Having a good resume, of course, having a good headshot when the time comes, having a good agent, all essential things, I guess, within the acting world that will give you a good advantage. Adequate training, nailing the audition, doing the very best you can in the audition, and just giving it your all for that few minutes and not being too bogged down afterwards, I guess, and just rolling with it. Negotiating the deal when all is said and done and you got the part, you're getting your contract, and if the deal works out good, if to get a good deal negotiator to on your behalf to negotiate the deal and go through the terms and conditions and so on and so forth. Criticism, able to take criticism. I thought this was one as well also that applies to many people in business and in personal lives. Being able to take the criticism, which a lot of people can do, but an awful lot of people can't do also. A lot of people get a little bit intimidated when someone tries to tell them, well, if you did this a little better, if you did this that way, you probably would be able to get more bookings, or you'd be able to do this better, that would be an advantage to you. I guess it's you have to be very delicate talking to some people as well, and then other people you can just give it to them straight and they can take it and they'll be grateful for it, and we should be grateful for it. We shouldn't feel, well, who do you think you're talking to? I'm doing this perfectly. We should be grateful to get the criticism, the good criticism, and it is going to benefit us at the end of the day. So, thank you. High self-esteem and low ego. Yeah, I thought this was very cool also. So, again, from what I've read and listening to people, that within the acting world, you can suffer from low self-esteem, getting rejected a lot of the time, probably the majority of the time, when you take into account auditions and stuff like that it can beat you down, and and that can have a negative impact on your auditions or just the way you really get up every morning. You're happy or you're sad, or stuff like that. So it's good to try and keep the head up and believe in the reason that you actually want to become an actor, not money. So if you have that goal, in hand and what you're working towards, well, it should make us that little bit, easier to get up and be in good spirits and stuff like that, and feeling good about yourself because that's exactly what you want to do. And having a low ego also, if you are getting on well and you're getting bookings and things start happening from you, well, there's no need to there's no need to go overboard with your ego either. Be humble, and we should be humble, because even with someone that is just starting out, they should still be humble that they're able to start out, and they're able to take steps in their career, and they're able to get out of bed, and they're able to go to their audition, and they're able to get an agent, and that alone we should be very, very grateful for. And the last one that Bonnie spoke about is to be emotionally accessible, and I guess this is, respect to actually acting and being in touch with your emotions. That, any movie you could hit a number of different emotions that, that actors go through. So it's good to be in contact with all them emotions within your body, that, you can access them anytime to be the best possible actor that you can possibly be. So that was it for self-management for acting. I thought first chapter was unbelievable. I really can't wait to continue reading it. The next book that I'm reading in parallel is, of course, Sandiford Meisner on acting. And yeah, a lot of talk about this book online, so I had to go on Amazon and purchase it, of course. The Meisner technique, and I had watched a few videos online from Meisner himself, Sandy, and other online classes all through YouTube, of course, that I have been watching, and I found the whole concept really, really, really interesting. So anyway, I got the book, and I can only assume that a lot of people listening to this, if they're into acting, they would have already have heard of Meisner. But if there's anyone that's not, the Meisner technique, considered a unique training form that teaches actors to respond to stimuli and trust their instincts. And it was created by a guy called Sanford Meisner. Grew up in New York, Brooklyn, I believe. And he teaches this through the word repetition game. So it essentially helps actors to it helps train actors' responses while getting out of their own head. So if you're trying to get into someone else's character, you can't be in your own character, if you want to kind of say it like that. And you're reacting to, so it essentially starts by two actors are facing each other, and they're repeating the same words to each other while working on each other's impulses. So let's say if the person's coat was red, you'd say well, your coat is red. My coat is red. Your coat is red. My coat is red. And then the other person would get mad. Yeah, my coat is red. So it kind of goes on like that, and their emotions change as the repetition game continues. It could be a number, the happy to sad to annoyed to whatever. It doesn't matter. The words are not really important. It's the way that the actors relate to each other through their impulses. They kind of work off each other's impulses. So as Meisner said, it plays on the source of organic creativity, which is inner impulses. And the whole concept is really cool. Don't do something unless something happens to make you do it. What you do does not depend on you, it depends on the other person, and with that it generates truthful responses. Really, really cool stuff. Meisner goes on and he talks about the reality of doing, and this I thought was really cool. So if you're actually doing something, you don't have to worry or pretend to be doing it. So for example, if your role was to go out and count the number of cars on the street, instead of going outside and pretending to count the number of cars on the street, if you actually counted the number of cars on the street, well then you're automatically in character, because you're actually doing it. You're not pretending to do it. So I thought that was really, really cool. You don't have to worry about being in character then, because you're actually doing it. So I thought that was fantastic. I will obviously be reading more and about these two books, or reading these two books further this week, and will fill you on the next chapters that I read. But those were two interesting books that I am reading. I have other ones bought as well, but I'm not going to mention them now. I'm going to read these two first, because it'll only get too confusing. In relation to acting classes, I have been trying to get Meisner classes, and I really kind of found this difficult. I live in the Houston area, and there's not that many in-person Meisner classes going on. I have been looking online, and there was a lot of online Meisner classes going back about 2 years ago. But there's not that many now. Some places actually had it mentioned on their website, and I called them, and yeah, they're not doing them anymore. So it's kind of all gone to in person now, which is okay, but there's not many of them around my area. But I have been doing a lot of general acting classes online around the Houston area. Now, if you're living obviously in LA or New York or Atlanta or one of these places, if you do want to take Meisner classes, I am sure that there is a ball of them, because I have seen them on Google. So yeah, a lot to choose from there if you're privileged. I did live in New York for 3 years, and before I moved to Texas, and of course I never availed of any Meisner classes while I was there. Kind of did things a bit arseways, but anyway, it's not the end of the world. I definitely will be taking a Meisner in-person class as soon as one becomes available. I have looked up acting classes in Houston, and I found a guy. He was mentioned on Reddit, and his name is Deke Anderson, and his acting studio is called Next Level Actor or Acting Studio, and it's located in Houston, Texas. And I checked this guy up on IMDb and Google, and he's been in a lot of stuff. He's actor, producer, director, and he's over 20 years in teaching students. And as I was saying, I found him on a Reddit forum, and people were talking about him, and they said he's extremely good. And he is there with another girl called Shelley Black, and the two of them operate this Next Level Acting Studio in Houston. And I was talking to Deke during the week, and Shelley is starting classes in the beginning of May, in-person classes, so I'm extremely excited to start them. They're in person, not online, which is good. So yeah, I can't wait to start them and fill you in how I go. Other than that, during the week, I have just been watching lots and lots of videos on acting in general, the fundamentals, and there's YouTube is fantastic, of course, but you need to get experience with an in-person class or coach also, and so that's why I'm really excited to start these classes. Also, to help document my journey and reach out to other aspiring actors, and to help unite with other actors, I created some social channels during the week. Just your typical YouTube, obviously Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and stuff like that. I just want to connect with as many people as possible, and I really would like to hear from any other actors who are in the Houston area, and of course all over. And I just really excited about the whole journey, and I'm really grateful again to be able to actually pursue the career that I've always wanted to do. As I was saying, last week. I'm 36 years old, and I've considered myself to be maybe too old to start, but I don't think that anymore. I kind of had a good reality check, and I'm grateful to be able to start taking the first steps, and I would love to hear from you guys, and if I can help you out in any way, I will, and vice versa. So thank you very much for tuning in. I think that about wraps it up for this week. I will be bringing out this podcast once a week to begin with, being today Monday, the next one will be Monday. And thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a wonderful week. Thank you.